Starting from this point forward, this November window onwards, the results have great rewards. The permutations are clear. Winning your quarterfinals, you're in the semifinals of the Nations League and also qualify for the Copa America, which puts you in a situation where you're fighting for two trophies in 2024. In 2024, you're fighting for the CONCACAF Nations League and you're also fighting for the Copa America. So already heading into 2024, you're fighting for two trophies at stake, right? 2024, you also have World Cup qualifying in the equation as well. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, getting started with 6 points is the best possible way in World Cup qualifying. 2025, you have Nations League again, you have World Cup qualifying, you have a Gold Cup, and you also end the calendar year with more World Cup qualifying. That's what 2025 has in store. And in 2026, the March window, you have the Intercontinental playoffs for the World Cup, and of course, June, July, you have the World Cup itself. So when you put all of that into the equation, Agility says, bless up, Simon. Bless up, Agility. Hope you're doing well. So let's zero in on the title. The title says, we need all hands on deck. And what does it mean when you say you need all hands on deck? It's quite simple. Every single stakeholder involved with football, with the Reggae Boyz, has a role to play, both on and off the field. The players, we know the important role that the players have. The players play that significant role on the pitch to ensure that we fight for those goals, those clean sheets, so that we can be able to get the requisite points to be able to advance to the World Cup. Off the pitch, the staff, the support staff, the coaching staff, the technical staff, the support staff. Also important as well, by extension, the member association, the federation, the Jamaica Football Federation. But those are not the only stakeholders involved with creating the success for the Reggae Boyz. You have to factor in the fans as well, that play a significant and important role. As we know, in the 2022 edition of World Cup qualifying, there were 7 home games for Jamaica. The first one against Panama, no fans. The one against Canada, no fans. Against the United States, only 5,000 fans. The games against Mexico and Costa Rica, no fans. And of course, the gates were open against El Salvador and Honduras. So 3 of the 7 games that Jamaica had in the 2022 edition of World Cup qualifying, 3 of the 7 games, which was less than 50%, so less than half of Jamaica's home games in the 2022 cycle, fans were able to attend. Right? We know the challenges that were associated with the COVID-19 pandemic and the government of Jamaica putting restrictions in place in terms of spectator attendance. Now, times have changed. So that challenge won't be there. And we can be able to replicate the spectators and the support that we saw going back to the 2014 World Cup qualifying cycle. Remember Jamaica versus Panama, March 2013 at the National Stadium? Yep, it was full to the brim that day. It was packed that day. September 7, 2012, when Jamaica took on the United States. Yes, that was another very special day as well, where Jamaica defeated the United States for the first time ever at the senior level. It was packed that day. The 1998 qualifiers, the day November 16, 1997, when Jamaica drew with Mexico to qualify for the World Cup, that was also a very special day as well, where the stadium was packed. September 2, 2001 against Mexico, the stadium was packed. Ash Wednesday, 2001 against Trinidad and Tobago, where Tyrone Marshall scored for Jamaica. That was a jam-packed day as well. So, I've mentioned the players, I've mentioned the staff, I've mentioned the member association as the federation, I've also mentioned the 12th man. Remember the 1998 World Cup qualifying campaign? Jamaica did not concede a single goal in World Cup qualifying at home. The only other campaign where Jamaica didn't concede a single goal at home was a 2010 World Cup qualifying cycle. Jamaica didn't concede to the Bahamas, to Canada, to Mexico, or Honduras. The only reason why Jamaica didn't get to the final round in that cycle was goal difference. Goal difference was the only thing that stopped that process. But now we know what the home fans can do, and we want clean sheets at home and not to concede at home as well as we push for World Cup qualification for 2026. I spoke about the fans. I spoke about the federation by extension, our member association. I spoke about the support staff that we have, including myself. I think spoke about the players as well, and also corporate Jamaica. Corporate Jamaica has a massive responsibility as well to ensure that there is both moral and physical support behind the team heading into the World Cup qualifying cycle. Remember, June 2024, that is when the World Cup qualifiers will start. I repeat, June 2024, that is when the World Cup qualifiers start. That's 7 months from now. I repeat, that's 7 months from now. The World Cup qualifiers start in 7 months from now. The World Cup qualifiers start when? In 7 months from now. What else? Vendors. The vendors play a very important role as well. The soup vendors, the snack vendors, they play an also important role at the venue as well. They also add to the morale as well. They play a significant role as well and a very important stakeholder as well. The government of Jamaica, another very important stakeholder that should not be neglected as well, because their moral support is also important. In the September window of the World Cup qualifiers, the Minister of Sport made her presence to the team as well, coming to the team hotel, shaking the hands of the players, providing words of encouragement as well towards the team as well, which was greatly appreciated by all the players in camp as well. So the government of Jamaica also has an important role to play as well. I made mention in previous videos in relation to the government role, and I'm going to touch on a stakeholder group that should not be neglected at all. That is not neglected in my books, but also has an important role to play. And that is, I'm going to tell you their title, and it's called PICA. And what does PICA stand for? Passport, Immigration, and Citizenship Agency. Okay? Passport, Immigration, and Citizenship Agency. As we know, during the COVID-19 pandemic, this process was not, you could say, fast. But what I can say is that PICA plays an important role in this process as well. A very, very important role to play in this process as well. We know in the month of December, things in Jamaica can slow down. It can. And think people start to get into the holiday season and the mood start to change, and perhaps even the efficiency as well. Perhaps the efficiency starts to change as well. So that's the situation there. Well, PICA plays an important role to play. All Jamaican consulates across the globe have a role to play as well. Just like when an athlete that was not born in Jamaica gets that Jamaican passport to represent Jamaica in track and field, similarly in football as well, this is also a critical stakeholder group as well. That is why I say all hands need to be on deck. The players, the staff, the Jamaica Football Federation, the 12th man, which is the fans, the vendors, the corporate Jamaica, the government of Jamaica, PICA. I've named 8 things right there, and I know there's more, but again, I want to talk about PICA. I want to talk about PICA, and this is an important point. In naturalizing players, this is an imperative action, and that is why all hands are going to be on deck. This is going to call on one important element, and I would say 2. One is tenacity, and the second area is a P word. You guys know what the P word is? Patriotism. Think about it. When was the last time somebody said to you, "Thank you for what you have done for our country"? Or have you ever wondered what you can do for your country? Think about the impact that you can play with your skill set, with your knowledge, the role that you can play for your country, the country that you were born in, the country that you has been your home for a very, very long time, the place that you consider so nice, the place that is a paradise in a sense. Think about it. Where Jamaica is situated in latitude and longitude. It's a very special place. The mountains that we have, being able to wake up and see 300 days of sunshine. We know October and November, it brings the rainy time, but think about it. You can be able to walk outside, you have sunshine, you can grow your crops, and you know that you can barter with your neighbor next door. If I have a hand of banana, I can barter and get a dozen ackee with my neighbor. That's the love that we have as a people. That's the connection that we have as Jamaicans to be able to do that. If I need something, I know I can rely on my neighbors. And if my neighbors need something, I know that they can rely on me as well. That's what we do well as a nation as well. So, these qualities that we demonstrate with our neighbors, let's do it with our fellow citizens. Let's do it with our fellow Jamaicans and help each other out. Because in the end, this is what is going to carry us towards World Cup qualification. This is what is going to help us on the journey towards the next chapter of our footballing history. This is what is going to write another chapter for us in our footballing history. So those individuals that play that significant role at RGD, and I know many people are going to wonder, what is RGD? RGD is the Registrar General Department. All right. Let's say, for an example, Simon Preston wants to play for Jamaica, and Simon Preston's father was born in Jamaica. Simon Preston goes to the RGD and get his father's birth certificate. I get my father's birth certificate. Cool. And then after that, I'm going to apply for my Jamaican citizenship. I take my birth certificate, I take my father's birth certificate, I take a couple of passport pictures, I get them signed by a JP, and then I proceed forward. I get my Jamaican citizenship. After I get my Jamaican citizenship, I apply for a Jamaican passport, and I get a Jamaican passport. You see the chain of what is needed here for every single stakeholder? Those that are involved in the paperwork process, those that are involved with filing the necessary documents, those that are involved with the printing of the necessary documents, those that are involved with the issuing of the citizenship and issuing of the passport as well. Every single person has a role to play. And one thing I can tell you in this life, folks, that what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. And in other words, there's another saying: the kindness that you put out in this world always, always has a way of coming back to you. The kindness you put out in this world always has a way of coming back to you. Am I saying do something that is breaching a rule or do something that is under the table? Absolutely not. The Bible speaks about abiding by the laws of the land, and I stand by that 100%. If I speed, I have to pay the consequences. Not purchase, but I pay the penalty of a speeding ticket. Similarly, if I break a red light, it's the same thing as well. There are laws in the land that you have to abide by, curfews as well. So, similarly, as well, when somebody is applying for a Jamaican passport, for citizenship, you follow that necessary guideline and steps. So, what I'm asking for is not to bypass a system, it's simply to expedite. And I've mentioned before that expedite does not mean bypass or do something under the table or illegal. Expedite means fast track, speed up, quicken the pace. You know what expeditious means? Quick and efficient. That's the definition of the word expeditious. And that is exactly what my desire is for those individuals that do their due diligence in putting in the time, energy, strength, resources to apply for a Jamaican passport. That is simply what I am requesting, asking, desiring. So those individuals behind the counter, on the opposite end, those individuals that are at PICA, they lift up their eyes. Every day they might see John Brown, John Smith, Rita Smith, Carla Smith. Yes, average Jamaicans, fellow Jamaicans renewing their necessary documents so that they can be able to travel one day, visit their family overseas, right? But for ambassadors of our country, individuals that represent us in sporting disciplines, those individuals that sacrifice blood, sweat, and after qualifying for the World Cup, tears as well, sacrifice family time, sacrifice potentially even rest as well. Because remember, the international window is 2 weeks. and persons could use those 2 weeks to rest and recover by the time that it's time for club football again. So sacrificing that as well for love of country. So I want to say this to individuals, members of the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency. Think about a couple of areas. One, do you love your country? I'm sure your answer would be yes, because you do exactly the letter to the law to ensure that whatever it is that you're doing is accurate and responsible and also legal. So, bearing in mind that you love your country, you want what's best for your country, right? Absolutely. I'm sure you want what is best for your country as well. 150%, you want what's best for your country. So, knowing that you want to know what's best for your country, if Simon Preston was born outside of Jamaica and is desirous of a Jamaican passport, and an individual that you know is a professional athlete, a professional footballer, and a soon to be reggae boy, then you behind the counter, whenever you speak to the next person that is processing the documents, printing the documents, and issuing the passport, it is important that that communication line is relayed in a way that speaks about urgency and clarity. Communication is such an important component. You have a receiver and you have a sender. And in some situations, you need feedback. Communication is extremely important. If I myself am behind the counter and I'm speaking to the person that is going to approve the application, approve the issuance, and the printing as well, I have to let them know, listen, folks, Simon Preston is a professional footballer. This is somebody that is going to represent Jamaica, and this is somebody that needs it today. Today. That in itself also is another example and another reason and another important component why all hands should be on deck. We are a team, okay? There are 3 million Jamaicans on the island, right? You have 2 million in the UK, and also within the United States as well, another 2 million, perhaps 2.5 million, because each and every day the Jamaican population in the state of New York and Florida continues to grow. You can even listen to Dale Elliott, the movie star Dale Elliott, who was in Sprinter. Even his Instagram reels, he speaks about as well what Fort Lauderdale Airport has turned into, where he spoke about when you come off the plane in Fort Lauderdale Airport, you think you're in another part of Jamaica. Whenever I land in Fort Lauderdale, I can tell you, you always look and you see somebody and you say, I know you're from somewhere, or you resemble somebody, or somebody even approaches you and says, Simon, walk on. And that's exactly what I'm referring to. So 3 million people in Jamaica, another 2 million in the UK, another 2.5 million within the United States, another 500,000 in the in Canada, right? 8 million Jamaicans across the world. Every single one of us have a role to play. Every single one of us has a role to play. Okay? Every single one of us has a role to play. And I know I'm extremely passionate about it. And this is probably the first time for this calendar year that I'm speaking from the first minute of this video all the way up to the 24th minute right now without stopping. It's just how passionate I feel about this particular topic in particular. And I know you guys want to say stuff in the comments, and I know I haven't stopped speaking as yet, but I need to make this extremely clear. Every single one of us has a role to play. Gillette in the United States, Sheldon in the United States has a role to play as well. Every single one of us has a role to play. Every one of us. Adam McGregor in the comments, you have a role to play as well. Every single one of us has a role to play. Siobhan Pierce has a role to play. Every single one of us. I'm just calling different names, all right, because of person that I know comment from time to time in this video. Every single one of us has a role to play on this journey towards 2026. Do you remember the stakeholders that I mentioned? The players, the staff, the federation, the government of Jamaica, corporate Jamaica, the vendors, the government of Jamaica I mentioned, but PICA as well as another stakeholder group that is so important, so critical, so vital. The diaspora, another important stakeholder. Yes, Dockland Stennett, I'm not sure if you just tuned into this video, but I mentioned roughly 5 minutes ago that I, Simon, Richard Latham, Rupert Preston also have a role to play as well. Listen, Jamaica is the land of my birth. I've lived in this country my entire life. I went to prep school, high school, university within this country. All right? The most I've spent outside of Jamaica is 6 weeks. All right? I've gotten my talent identification level 1 in Scotland. I'm also a degree that says that I can teach French to beginners as well. And as I made mention, I went to university within this country as well. As I've said, I'm a third generation Jamaican, but my entire life I've been in this country. All right? Just recognizing those that are within the chat as well as I continue to speak. Just recognizing Tuffy Ruddy is there, Duckland is there, Nati Congo is also there as well. Jilla T. I know many others. Many others are tuned in. I know. I completely get it. Okay? I understand. All hands are needed on deck. Players, staff, federation, corporate Jamaica, government of Jamaica, PICA, diaspora. I haven't spoken about about the diaspora yet. Carl Thomas. Big up, Carl. Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're doing well. Carl Thomas has a role to play as well. Tuffy Roddy has a role to play. Duckland Stennett has a role to play. Jilla T has a role to play. Everybody has a role to play on this journey. Every single person has a role to play. I mentioned the staff. I spoke about technical staff and even non-technical staff as well. But for me, I think support staff is support staff. Physios, massage therapists, analysts, trainer, press officer, myself, I have a role to play. Head chef, everybody has a role to play on this journey. Because once everybody is singing from the same hymn sheet, then everybody will understand the importance. Everybody has that role to play. Everybody has a role to play. And everybody has that keen love and passion. So again, I say to Passport Immigration Citizenship Agency, in September, I renewed my Jamaican passport and I got it back the very next day. I got back my Jamaican passport in 18 hours. I renewed my Jamaican passport and 18 hours later, I was able to pick it up. I know they're same day as well. Damien Lowe was able to get same day as well when he was an under-20 player as well, renewing his Jamaican passport, amongst many other players that have received, like same day getting a passport. Same thing can be done in this generation for those that are in the diaspora. Our players that were born in the United States, in Canada, in England, to Jamaican parents and grandparents. Every single person has a role to play. Everybody has a role to play. I spoke about staff. I spoke about federation. I've spoken about corporate Jamaica. I've spoken about government of Jamaica. I've spoken about PICA. I spoke about vendors. I've spoken about players. What I haven't touched yet is a diaspora. Yes, diaspora, you have a role to play as well. How so? Well, I'll tell you what. Yes, US, Canada, UK. Jamaica will not play World Cup qualifiers in these places. Why? The United States and Canada are not in the World Cup qualifiers. They're automatically there. So Jamaica won't have matches in these venues. And the UK, countries that are in the UK are in the UEFA, they're not in CONCACAF. But what can you do? Well, if you're not flying to Jamaica for the games, or flying to the Caribbean or Central American countries where Jamaica will play away games, what you can do is something else. If you're unable to fly to the island, if you're unable to be able to not fly to the island or physically go to away games or the Gold Cup or the Copa America or the Nations League, if you're unable to be there, you know what you can do? You make your voices heard as well. Players read their messages. They do. And do you remember the interview that I conducted with Damari Gray just before the Gold Cup? Do you remember what he said? When he's on Instagram and he scrolls through the comments and he sees the amount of Jamaican flags that were posted under his picture, as he made a post in his feed, and when he goes in the comments, he sees Jamaican flags. Do you know how much that gave him a lift? Especially during the difficult times at Everton fighting for Premier League survival. That is also another important role. Joe Bird, the World Cup qualifiers start June 2024. And I know, guys, I know I've been talking from the first minute of this video to the 31st minute. I know I'm not somebody that goes on and on and on and on, but this is so passionate to me, and I think it's important that everybody understands exactly what I'm saying, as I've been talking for half an hour straight, and I'm going to continue talking as well the importance of this. Players read their comments. So when you see Bobby Reed score on the weekend, when Michael Hector plays an important role in a clean sheet, you put that Jamaican flag in the comments. You comment underneath it. You see a player go down, you wish them speedy recovery. You have no idea what positive it does for them. Words of affirmation is not only a love language, but it's also a point of reassurance as well. So while we as men, we love words of affirmation from women, it is also important as well that to our fellow Jamaican who is competing as well, that they are also dispensing that quality as well. Words of affirmation. Good goal, brother. Nice assist today. Congrats. Just drop in the Jamaican flag and the heart emoji. You have no idea what that means for Demari, what it means for Antonio, what it means for Leon Bailey, what it means for all of the players. All of the players, congratulating them on progressing to the playoffs of Major League Soccer, progressing to the playoffs of the United Soccer League. It means a world of good, and it shows them and makes them feel good, knowing that people are watching them outside of the fans of the club. They know that Jamaicans back home and Jamaicans in the diaspora are tuning in to the games and knowing, okay, I'm going to watch the Andre Blake and Damian Lowe this evening in the best of 3 series. I'm going to see the Damari Gray, see if he can get back-to-back goals in the Saudi Pro League. I'm going to watch Bobby Reed and the journey and the path that he's taken as well in his development. I'm going to watch Leon Bailey on his purple patch of form at Aston Villa. I'm going to watch Amari Bell, who's recovered from injury and along this journey as well. So you have an important role, the diaspora as well, in this journey. A very, very important role. And with Jamaica taking on Canada, home and away, the Canadians, the Jamaican diaspora in Canada, also with a significant role to play in this journey. A significant role to play. The match is in Toronto. Little Jamaica, as Devon Porter will tell you, as well as many other Jamaicans that are living within Toronto. Think about the communities of Ajax, of Whitby, of Scarborough, of Brampton, Mississauga, of Peterborough, of London, of Kingston, Ontario, communities with Jamaican populations and the importance that this means. We saw the support for the Reggae Girls at BMO Field, and it's going to be similar or even more people in the stands supporting Jamaica. Naranda Brown will tell you. Devon Porter will tell you. Richard Edwards will tell you, as well as many other Jamaicans that are living within Canada. The diaspora, you also have an important role to play. Risbig in Manchester, England, you have an important role to play as well. Sheldon Davis, Gilla T, Adam McGregor, you all have an important role to play on this journey. Every single one of you, I promise, every single one of you have an important role to play, but we have to work in tandem. We have to work together. We have to have the same goal, the same vision, the same thing in mind. The diaspora, I spoke about it. Making your voices heard. If you're unable to physically go to the game, is there a way that you can purchase tickets so that persons on the island could go? a marching band, some drums, some people to make some noise in the stadium, some people to make the opposition fearful and make the home team get that extra added oomph and momentum for the game. Think about it. The diaspora, you have a role to play, an important role to play, and an important role to play that is significant towards the journey. Again, folks, again, every FIFA window for the next 30 months, every FIFA window for the next 2.5 years will be occupied. And the journey from now, this November 2023, to June, July 2026, a lot is at stake. Victory over Canada in this window puts us in the hunt for 2 trophies next year. 2 trophies next year. 2 trophies next year. 2 trophies next year. Last time we won a trophy, 2016, defeating Chile in the Estadio Sausalito Stadium, 2-1. The Caribbean champions defeating the Copa America winners from 2015. Prior to that, Jamaica's last trophy, 2014. Nitro because Devon Porter lives in Canada. 2014, Jamaica won the Caribbean Cup. So think about persons that have won trophies for Jamaica in the current squad. Andre Blake, Michael Hector, Adrian Mariappa. From the current roster of individuals, of players that have won trophies for Jamaica, that's basically the 3. Those are the 3 individuals that know what it's like to lift a trophy with Jamaica and can tell the current set of players what it is like. Every single person, Omar Perry, Starboy's Juices, has a significant role to play. The entire diaspora. I repeat again, the World Cup qualifiers start June 2024. The World Cup qualifiers start June 2024. The World Cup qualifiers start when? June 2024. When is June 2024? That's 7 months from now. The year is basically done, you know. As you quint, it's 2024. As you quint, it's summer 2024. And it's another busy summer ahead. 2 World Cup qualifiers plus a Copa America. That's a minimum of 5 games and a maximum of 8 games in a 6-week window. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. As I said, every single person has a role to play. Whether you are in Fort Lauderdale, whether you are in Miami, whether you are in Tampa, in the north of Florida, Tallahassee, Jacksonville, whether you are in Atlanta, in Georgia, whether you are in North or South Carolina, Charlotte, whether you are in Roseville, whether you are in Maryland, whether you are in New Jersey, New York, Boston, Pennsylvania, whether you are in Philadelphia, whether you are in Texas, whether you are in California, whether you are in Toronto, whether you are in Mississauga, whether you are in Vancouver, whether you are in London, Birmingham, Manchester, Yorkshire, Newcastle, wherever you are, you have an important role to make on this journey. And I know I've been talking straight nonstop for 40 minutes, but this is important. Every one of us, all hands on deck. Do you remember Noah's Ark? Yeah. Noah and his wife, his children, and their wives, it was all hands on deck. And they were saved. When all hands on deck and everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet, everything goes well. As I said, the players will give their all for the 90 minutes of every game they play. The support staff, the same thing, to support them and prepare them to the best of their abilities to get maximum points in every game. The federation as well, with the support morally, physically, emotionally, everything to give the team the boost that is necessary. Corporate Jamaica providing that monetary support, providing that leverage, providing that support as well as a leverage. The government of Jamaica as well, with pushing the public to be aware of the importance of these games, the importance of this next chapter of our journey. PICA, the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency, those persons behind the counter that are accepting the paperwork, to be able to process that paperwork, to tell and alert those persons with the ink and the printer and the issuance of the passport, the significance and importance of proceeding at an expeditious pace. What does expeditious mean? Quick and efficient. It doesn't mean illegal or breaching principles. It means quick and efficient so that everything runs smoothly like a well-oiled machine. Everything, and everybody has an important role to play. I guarantee you all that are watching this video that I, Simon Preston, will do my utmost best for my country for the rest of my life. For as long as God spares my life, I will be doing the best. I'll be giving my best. Many persons, when they go to their job, they're constantly looking at the watch to see what time it is. This is not an industry to watch the clock. This is not an industry to say, oh, clock in and clock out. No, nothing like that. The 16 to 20-hour work days. I'm committed for that. And I will always be committed for that for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life, where God blesses me with life, good health, and the ability that I currently have, I will be giving my best. I give you that commitment publicly for the rest of my life, that I'll be doing my utmost best to provide the information that is necessary and ensure that everybody, and we continue being on this positive path. That's my commitment, and I will always do that. Always. And I can give you that assurance that the players and the staff will be doing the same as well on this journey. Nations League, World Cup qualifying, Copa America, the World Cup itself, everybody will be giving their utmost best. I know rest is key and rest is important. That's why the preparations are put in place before heading into these international windows, so that you give your all, you give your best. And that is exactly the difference. And I know 3 spots to intercontinental playoff berths. You have a number of teams in CONCACAF that feel that this is their opportunity. So they will be fighting tooth and nail as well. But that's why I say, if all of us as stakeholders give our utmost, then we will reach the promised land. We will reach the promised land. We will. Just like Matthew chapter 24, verse 14 says. And just like Psalms chapter 37, verse 4. Those verses tell you everything that you need. Romans chapter 10 and verse 11. Similarly today, you give your best and you see the rewards and you reap what you sow. Again, the kindness that you put out in this world has a way of coming back to you. So again, I say to you, are you ready? Are you ready for the journey? Are you ready? Because from now on, for the next 30 months, it's going to be constant, relentless, hard work towards the goal. Every FIFA window. What did I say? Every FIFA window. What did I say? Every FIFA window. What did I say? Every FIFA. 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 What did I say? Every FIFA window from now to June, July 2026 will be occupied. And every FIFA between now and then has permutations. Beat Canada, we're fighting for 2 trophies next year. 2 trophies next year. 2 trophies next year. A Nations League title and a Copa America. 2 trophies we'll be fighting for in the 2024 calendar year. 2025, a Nations League and a Gold Cup. and 2026, a World Cup title. At the end of the day, my vision is deeper than qualifying. It's at the World Cup and Jamaica playing in a 90,000 seater stadium and seeing a sea of black, green, and gold. That's my dream. Of course, we've seen it at the National Stadium with 30 odd thousand, but my dream is to see it at a capacity stadium that has over 50,000 people. That's my dream. At the World Cup, to see a stadium filled with a sea of black, green, and gold. And I don't care whether it's Miami, New York, LA, Vancouver, Toronto, Monterey. It doesn't matter the city for me. I just want to see that black, green, and gold. I just want to see the sea of support. I want to feel like how I feel whenever I'm in South Florida and Fort Lauderdale and feel like I'm in Little Jamaica. I want to feel that. Yes, BM, the Copa America playoff is single-legged as explained in yesterday's video. It will be one match in a neutral video in March 2024. Okay? So that is my vision. That is my vision. Jamaica against Poland. First game of the 2026 FIFA World Cup in Group B action. Right? And Jamaica dominates the stadium. And we create Red Bull Arena, Drive Pink Stadium, Rose Bowl. We create the Levi Stadium into our hub where the team walks onto the field and the ground beneath you shakes. That's my vision. Where you enter, the team enters the stadium with the bus arrival, and you hear the vuvuzelas, you hear the claps, you hear the applause, the commotion just to come off the bus and being escorted by FIFA officials towards the dressing room. That is my vision. That is my vision. That is my wish. That is my wish. That is my vision. To have all of that unfold. To see a sea of yellow in the stadium. The sea of yellow. The same atmosphere. To feel what it is like. Just like what it is in South Florida. Whether you are in Plantation, in Pembroke Pines, in Sunrise, in Biscayne, in Miramar, Hialeah, in Boca, in Kendall, to feel what it is like in St. Petersburg, Tampa, to feel what it's like walking through that air and feeling like you're in Jamaica. That is exactly what I'd like to see. In the World Cup Village, which is the city center, to have Jamaicans everywhere. That is my vision. To go on the team bus and driving to the stadium, and when you look out your window, you see the Jamaicans clapping, waving, blowing their blowhorns, blowing their vuvuzelas. That is my wish. That is my vision. And again, to see that stadium, that 90,000 seater stadium, packed with Jamaicans. I know Drive Pink doesn't have 50,000, Jason, but I'm just naming venues off the top of my head. I know Drive Pink has less than 30,000. But you could go to Rose Bowl in Pasadena. That can hold a lot of people. The Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, that can hold a lot of people. The Cowboy Stadium, that can hold a lot of people. Soldier Field in Chicago, that can hold a lot. So that is how I feel. So every single one of us has that journey. Beat Canada. We're hunting for 2 trophies in 2024. We're going to 2024 March. We're 2 wins away from a trophy. We're going to June. We start off with World Cup qualifiers before the Copa America. We need 6 points to start our campaign. 6 points. 6 points to start off World Cup qualifying, because World Cup qualifying has a gap. 2 matches June 2024, 2 matches June 2025. So it's important that we get off the ground with 6 points. 6 points. That is what we need. That is what is going to help us on this journey. Again, all the stakeholders, players, staff, Federation, Corporate Jamaica, Government of Jamaica, PICA, diaspora, vendors, all hands on deck. All hands on deck are needed for this journey. All hands on deck. I know COVID is still a thing, but we can safely expect that we won't have restrictions in relation to spectator attendance. And you know what that means? We can fill up that national stadium and we can create an environment. We had our highest ever attendance in a women's international, just a shade over 9,000 fans for the Jamaicans against Canada. Let's put 30,000 seats back in that stadium. Starting November 17, 2023. Why is that date so important? Well, November 16, 1997, as you know, is the day that Jamaica qualified for the 1998 World Cup. So November 16 this year, Jamaica will be celebrating. Yep, that's right. Jamaica will be celebrating its 26-year anniversary since 1998 qualification. And we play Canada the day after. So let's come and celebrate the 26-year anniversary of that historic accomplishment. And let's cheer on the Reggae Boyz as we push for Copa America qualification. This is our journey. This is our mission. I repeat, every single person has a role to play. Head coach, assistant coaches, goalkeeper coach, physical trainer, team doctor, massage therapist, physiotherapist, masseuse, equipment manager, kit man, team managers, press officer. Everybody has a role to play on this journey. Everybody has a role to play on this journey. All hands on deck. This is not the industry. This is not the job where you watch your clock and you clock in and clock out. This is the industry where you do the job until the work is done. I've given you my words. For as long as God spares my life, every single breath, I'm going to do my utmost best. And I'm going to be doing that for the rest of my life. Every day for the rest of my life. Every day. So, that is what I say. And at Congo, this is the next thing I want to touch on what you just said here. When Jamaica qualified for the World Cup, I wasn't 10 years old yet. So if I'm being completely frank with you, the World Cup qualifiers, I don't remember it. I had to read a book by a Gleaner journalist called Mr. Carnegie about it. So the qualifiers itself, I don't remember it. I had to read about it and also watch clips about it. I remember the World Cup. But if you say, Simon, go back to November 16, 1997, I can't remember what that day was. Because I was not even 5 years old as yet. But what I can tell you is I remember 98. I remember the World Cup itself. I've seen Jamaica lift trophies. Caribbean Cup 2005, Caribbean Cup 98, Caribbean Cup 2008, 2010, 2014. I've seen Jamaica defeat a team that is ranked number 3 in the world. I've seen Jamaica defeat Argentina by 2-0 at the Pan Am Games and go on to the silver medal game. You understand what I'm saying? I've seen Jamaica hold Brazil to a 0-0 draw. I remember Jamaica playing against Jamaica has played against some of the best in the world. You know, think about the opposition that Jamaica has been able to arrange games against. Jamaica has played against Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador. Jamaica's played against South Africa, Zambia, Ghana, Cameroon. Jamaica's played against Japan, New Zealand, Australia, South Korea, Saudi Arabia, Iran, Indonesia, Malaysia. Jamaica has played against France, England. Thank you for your patience. But I want to stress this point here. Jamaica and who Jamaica is going on to play. We have to discuss it. We have to. Jamaica has played against South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Japan, Australia, South Korea, England, France, Republic of Ireland, Indonesia, Iran, Malaysia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, South Korea. Jamaica has played against some really, really good teams. I'm serious, guys. I'm serious with everything that I'm saying. I am a Jamaican. And I trust that, and I know for a fact that 90% of the people watching this video right now are also Jamaican, whether you're born on the island or you were parents or grandparents. And again, I want to repeat this one more time. If your parents or grandparents are born in Jamaica and you are not, you are just as much as a Jamaican as I am. Okay? You're just as much as a Jamaican as I am. Who am I to criticize or judge your players, your parents or grandparents for leaving Jamaica to search for a work opportunity, for a better life for you as that young person and your family? I'm fortunate that my parents were able to recover from the financial challenges that came in the late 80s and the early 90s. I know that a lot of people left Jamaica during that period of time in the late 80s, early 90s, as the economy had some instabilities. I'm grateful that my parents were able to rebound and be able to find some level of footing. And I was able to be born in this country. Maybe if things had not worked out, then my parents would have had me born in another country. But I was born within this country, even though my parents traveled quite frequently. So when Tiffany Cameron's mother and father decided to leave Jamaica for a work opportunity, or Adrian Mariappa's mother or Joel Latibodier's father decided to go work on the docks in Liverpool, Joel Latibodier, Adrian Mariappa, Tiffany Cameron and company, they're just as Jamaican as I am. Let's stop it for now. From now on, let us stop it. Because every person that represents Jamaica is a Jamaican. It is illegal to have somebody represent Jamaica who is not Jamaican. It is illegal to do so. Illegal. It is illegal for somebody to represent a country that they're not affiliated to. Back in the 20s and 30s, it could have worked when somebody represents Argentina and Spain. I think Alfredo Stefano represented Spain and Argentina, but times are different. Times are different. You can't do that at the senior level now. You can't do that now. I can't believe I've been talking for 1 hour straight about this. This is probably like the first time in a couple of years where I've done one video straight of just talking. Perhaps this is the first time that I'm doing it. Please, guys, stop the why this English brother, why this American brother. Yes, you heard me. because the American diaspora is growing as well. Growing. Tavon Gray. Remember Craig Zadie? Yeah. Justin McMaster? Yeah. Yeah. Jabari Hilton was born in the States as well. Yeah. Born in the United States. And also Canadian-born players as well. All right, guys? Embrace everybody. Come on, guys. We're a team. We're a team, okay? We're a team. Bless up, Siobhan. I hope you're doing well. I actually even mentioned your name earlier in this video as well. But I'm sorry, but you might have to like rewind back to the start of this video, or maybe I'll repeat what I said. Everybody has a role to play. I made mention players, support staff, federation, corporate Jamaica, government of Jamaica, vendors, the diaspora. I said Adam McGregor, you have a role to play. Gilla T, you have a role to play. Sheldon Davis, you have a role to play. Shavon Peart, you all have a role to play. Everybody has a role to play. Because you look at the title of this video and it says, we need all hands on deck. We need all hands on deck. We have 8 million Jamaican people in the world. 3 million on the island and another 5 million in the diaspora. Because we have Jamaicans as well in the Netherlands, in Belgium, in Spain. Jojo Lombardo is in Spain, Jamaican in Spain. We have Jamaicans in Scandinavia. We have Jamaicans in every country of the world. In fact, Jamaicans are located in every continent of the globe except Antarctica. Jamaicans are on every continent of the globe except Antarctica. The last time that we had 35,000 people in the stadium was March 2013 when Jamaica took on Panama in the World Cup qualifiers, where Marvin Elliott scored for Jamaica. The World Cup qualifiers start in June 2024. That's 7 months from now. 7 months from now. And as Shavon Peart has said, we need to capacity. All hands on deck. I'm going to mention this so that you guys are aware. Everybody needs to also have the same level of enthusiasm. And let me explain. Before Peru qualified for the 2018 FIFA World Cup, you know what they did? They stopped their local league just so the national team could train and prepare for their World Cup qualifiers. Eventually, Peru qualified for the World Cup. Okay? Second example, 2002 World Cup qualifiers. Australia plays Uruguay in the Intercontinental Playoff. Australia won the first leg 1-0 in Australia. Now Australia had to go to Uruguay as well. You know what happened when Australia went to Uruguay? After they passed through immigration, they were sent to the things to declare in the line and spent 2.5 hours in things to declare. The Uruguayan authorities searched every single one of the Australian bags. Why? They didn't have anything that was illegal, but to slow them down, to wear them out, to make them frustrated, especially after the long journey, because they're coming from 2 corners of the globe, Australia to LA, LA to Miami, Miami to Montevideo. So that is at least 2 long flights. What else? The bus driver for the Australian team was not at the airport. He showed up late. And what happened when the Australian team went to check in at the Uruguayan hotel? There was nobody behind the desk. They had to wait another 45 minutes. What happened when Australia went to bed the night? There were drums beating all night. All night drums were being beat. What happened eventually in the game? Uruguay 3, Australia 0. Uruguay qualified for the 2002 World Cup. Why? Football is a religion in South America. And any little push, any psychological advance, any little 1% can be pushed in that way. Now, am I saying that Jamaican immigration authorities should be doing the same thing? No. I am not saying that Jamaican authorities should be doing the same for the Canadian team or any other visiting team that comes here when the World Cup qualifiers start. I am not endorsing that exact same message. What is the point I'm trying to make? Everybody is on the journey and everybody feels part of the journey. So the security and the immigration officers in Uruguay, they felt part of the journey. And similarly as well, everybody here is a part of the journey. The 12th man, the government of Jamaica, the corporate Jamaica, the fans, the coaching staff, the member association, meaning the Jamaica Football Federation, and also the players as well. Every single person has a role to play. Every single person has a role to play. So again, am I saying that immigration authorities should send the Canada team into things to declare line? No, I'm not saying that. But as a nation, we need to make them feel uncomfortable. Put 35,000 fans in that stadium. We'll make the place rocking, and we'll make them know that this is our yard. And there's a reason why you can't come out our yard and take anything from we. Make them feel how them feel 97. Make them feel how them feel 2008. Make them feel how them feel 2010. And I know, Shav, I know you're messing around, no problem. But do you understand the point and the picture that I am painting with all of this? Do you know how much times that Jamaica has been to Central America and played against Honduras and Costa Rica and Nicaragua and Panama, and the environment that has been created by the 12th man and the public by extension in those countries? Panama, Costa Rica, Honduras, they have made, and even El Salvador as well, they've turned those areas and made the opposition feel uncomfortable. Not in terms of safety, in terms of whenever it comes to match time and kickoff. And that is exactly what I'm saying. No Dexter Hope. Jamaica has never felt like a tourist in Honduras. Jamaica has never felt like a tourist in Honduras. No. The beating of the drums all night. Anything that gives them that psychological push, they do that. And that happens in Central America, and that happens in South America as well. Stopping of a national league, slowing down things in immigration so that their home team can get that advantage. Do you know what Red Star Belgrade did to Manchester United in 1958? Do you know what Red Star Belgrade did to Manchester United in 1958? And this is Eastern Europe, Belgrade, Serbia. Manchester United had the second leg of the quarterfinals of the European Cup. Manchester United won 4-3 at home, and Manchester United had to go away for the second leg against Red Star Belgrade. When Manchester United, Busby Babes, went to Red Star Belgrade, all of their bags were stopped. All of their bags were checked. And the immigration officer in Serbia said to local boy Eddie Coleman, "We have food here too. You came a long way to lose." Manchester United didn't arrive to their hotel till late. The match ended 3-3, but again, football is a religion. Eastern Europe, South America, Central America, football is a religion. Football is a religion in these areas. Football is a religion. Mexico took on New Zealand to qualify for the World Cup. What happened? When New Zealand traveled to Mexico, Mexico ensured that they made New Zealand know that they were in a place where it's not going to be easy to even get possession. It's our time, folks. It's our time to create that environment. It's our time to create that surge of energy. It's our time. So let's do this. Who's with me? As I've said, I, Simon Preston, will be giving my all for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. This is not an industry to watch the clock, and that is not something that I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing my utmost best. All hands on deck, guys, okay? All hands on deck. Jamaica on 3. You guys ready? Jamaica on 3. 1, 2, 3. Jamaica. You guys are with me? Let's do this. Let's do this. I think this is the first time that I've talked 1 hour straight without interruption for quite some time. I had to let you guys know that this journey. 2 weeks from now is the match. 2 weeks from now, Jamaica against Canada. Let's do it. Okay? Make life difficult for visiting teams. When they come here, they know that we are here and we are gunning for the 3 points, not treat